Murdered
I'm
Soul
telling
Suspect.
you guys, this thing is the future. I'm watching you guys in 3D right now. This thing is badass. What's going on, guys? We're live. We got a ton of stuff to talk about. I want to talk about Valiant Hearts, Sniper Elite 3. I want to imagine being a kid in today's day and age. I want to talk about Thunderstruck Gaming Community Channel, Rebellion Games, Borderlands 2 on the PS Vita, Oculus Rift sales suspended in China, a huge proportion of PS4 owners never played The Last of Us, all that and a whole lot more. What the hell's going on, Beastly Gamer? Long time no see.
Yes, sir. Welcome. I'm happy to be back. Welcome back, everybody, and I'm happy to see you guys. Had a little situation last week. My daughter was a little sick, so I had to, be on hiatus. But it feels great to be back. I missed you guys, man. Been playing a lot of video games this week. I've been going through my video game collection and having a lot of fun, and I'm super excited about getting this show on the road today.
Awesome. Unreal Gamer, how you been?
I couldn't be better. This week was a busy week. I just started some calculus and vectors, so it's going to be an interesting one. I've also been playing Team Fortress, so I finally got my first Australium, which is worth a whopping $35 in the Steam store. I'm happy I got that, so I know. It's like such a nerd love.
There are so many things that you just said that I don't understand, and it started with calculus. Not too nerdy. Long time no see for you too. How you been?
Good. I was at Too Many Games last week, which is a small little convention. But it's fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. There's a lot of retro games, different things like that. This week I really didn't play too many games. I played like an indie game, and that's pretty much it. Really wasn't playing too many games, but I did do another garage sale, which was pretty cool. It was more like a flea market sale, so sort of like that. You'll see in the next episode.
I know you saw my video where I talked about your garage sale video.
Oh yes. Yeah.
You were seriously like I gotta stop watching those. I think because it's literally like you're there talking to me saying, yeah, just run out to the garage sales on the weekend, start spending some money.
So easy to do.
Filling up some space.
I mean, if you get the right deal, like you can also flop something too. Like or you could like make a big turn and get money too if you know what you're doing. Like. So, some people do that. I'm not a reseller, though. I'm not huge on that. Like, there's times that, like, I might sell a little bit more, but either way, I give, like, a bro discount. I don't charge too much because I want people to actually get something that they like, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Do it. I think you should do it. There's plenty of room back there behind you. I see it. I can definitely see a Dreamcast and a whole bunch of games back there. Wait. Yep. You have room for Sega Saturn back there.
Sure.
I could go for playing Panzer Dragoon again.
Bobby,
how you been, buddy? Nice of you to join in.
Oh, thanks, you guys. I was just playing Call of Duty, and then I saw it was 3 o'clock. I'm like, oh shit, Basic Thoughts. I completely forgot about that. So glad to be on again.
All right.
What's up, Robbie?
What do we want to talk about first? I'd love to talk about Valiant Hearts again. I talked about it last week, but I've been having so much fun with it this week still that I'd love to talk about it again. Anybody been playing that?
No, and I saw some of your videos, and like, at first I was like, this is not my type of game, and then like I saw you playing it more, and I'm like, wow, like I didn't know it was like that, and I'm starting to actually. Which I'm starting to get upset with you in a way because like I wasn't planning on spending money on anything else. Like I already have it locked in my mind what I'm going to spend money on. But watching your video, of course, you're trying to persuade people to buy things. So
I'm being paid by Valiant Hearts.
I think you're being paid by someone. I'm not saying who it is, but no, but it looks like a fun game. I can tell you're having a lot of fun with it. So
it is. It's funny because I started the Let's Play out and I was making fun of the characters and having a good time. It's got the French versus the Germans in World War I, and I was kind of playing off how the French surrendered in World War II. But then as I got into it, the more I played, the more I got involved in the characters. I stopped making fun of everybody entirely and just became totally invested in the outcome of every event. And it's been a pretty fun game.
Nice.
Now, I wasn't here last week. If you mind, elaborate to me on how you came across Valiant Hearts and what your initial impressions are on the game.
It's out. I think it's on PC. I want to say I know it's on the PlayStation 4 because that's where I'm playing it. I'd have to Google it to find out what all platforms it's on. But I just saw it there. I saw a trailer for it. I want to say at E3, and it just looked amazing. You know, the art style is beautiful. It's really original. It's not something I'd seen before. I couldn't really tell what kind of gameplay there was from the trailers, but the art style and the story. You know, being in World War I, like, what do you know about World War I? Very little. I knew very little, and you know, they kind of claimed like, hey, you know, we'll give you a fun game and we'll teach you a little something at the same time, and that's exactly what's going on. I'm totally invested in the characters. I'm having a great time. The gameplay is nice, and I'm learning a little something. It's amazing.
It says
this is the game that they touted during E3 as the game that the stories of what happens to the people during the war are really the draw of the game. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah, it's based off a lot of letters and history.
Yeah,
and
some real that. Stuff. Right? Okay,
yeah, but
wow.
it's a game. You know, it's definitely a game, right?
Definitely
like there's like
game.
whimsical stuff that's happening. It's, you know, like it's not going to bring you down. You know, you're not going to get depressed while you're watching it or playing it.
Okay,
but
so it's not like the crying game. Okay, I got you.
But there's.
According to Wikipedia, just so you know, it does say that it's PlayStation Network for Windows and also for Xbox Live Arcade. So
there you go. Good. Yeah, it's a really fun game.
How many hours have you put into it so far on BriarRabbit?
I could tell you by adding up my Let's Plays. Let's see, I've done 12 Let's Plays at 20 minutes apiece.
Oh, so far out.
240 minutes.
Unreal. This is your first calculus lesson. Solve this one.
It's 4 hours.
Putting you into the test.
Also been playing a little Sniper Elite 3. You guys check this game out yet? I know Not Too Nerdy's got something to say about this.
I've seen it. I haven't tried it. Just my initial thoughts on what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Very gritty. I love the bullet time effects.
Yeah, that's awesome. I giggle every time I see it.
And the exit, you can tell the bullet is actually changed its physical form coming out of the person you kill.
Yeah.
It's very realistic. And it's probably something I'll definitely try in the future. What consoles is that on? I know it's on PC.
I think that's on just about everything. 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One. I think it's pretty much on everything. But I'm having a good time with it. There's not a whole lot of story to be told, but there's it's one of those games where you just make your own fun. They give you these huge levels. It's not an open world game. You're in a level, you got a lot of objectives in that level, and they're really huge, so you can approach all those objectives from all sorts of different angles. You know, you can sneak around with just your silenced pistol, or you can, you know, find like a generator that's malfunctioning and use the sound of the misfires of the generator and time your sniper rifle shots with it. And your sniper rifle is really fun to use. It's a really fun game. However, some people paid for it and didn't get to play it, right? Not too nerdy?
Yes. Well, before I jump into that part, I want to say, like, I like the series, you know, like, version 2 is really fun, but I think the best game of the series is the Nazi zombie version of the game. They have Nazi zombie version 2, and this is, like, it's in the world version 2, except it's Nazi zombie. So there's all these zombies going towards you, and they're trying to kill you, and you're doing those sniper, and there's still bullet time and stuff like that. So it changes up the whole game for you that now that you had your practice with the enemies they're attacking you, but like sometimes they don't see you, the zombies are always attacking. There's waves after waves, so it's pretty cool.
So you gotta be quick with those headshots then.
Yeah, that's why it's really cool, and that's when you switch. You have to know once they get close, you switch weapons and you shoot them close. I'm looking forward to it. They have a version 3, you know, for version 3, they have Nazi zombies for that. But there's like over 7,000 people that got this game with CD keys. Now, for people who don't know what CD key is, it's a way for you to get a game cheaper. And how it works is when you go online, there's different websites that sell CD keys. You get the key and you pay a cheaper price. And then once you get the key, you use that key to download the game off Steam. Now, the way they do this is majority of them go to like different countries that have like really, really cheap retail prices, like Russia and like all like countries that have really cheap retail prices. They purchase a bunch of those retail games in bulk. They take the CD keys and they resell it online. Now, that's not illegal, but a lot of companies, a lot of game studios do not like that they do this, because there's different prices for each country. Each country has a certain price because it goes according to the economy and stuff like that, and that's how the prices are made. Now, in Rebellion, what they did, they claimed that 7,000 CD keys were stolen off one website. They didn't even mention a website, as far as I know. But one of the websites is 7,000 are stolen. So what they did is they blocked every single game. So every person there's 7,000 people that downloaded the game, they were blocked. They were not allowed to play the game. They couldn't get their purchase or anything. So to me, that's horrible because those are dedicated fans that actually bought the game day one, and yet, according to them, they thought it was a real purchase. They didn't know it's stolen or anything. So they bought it, and the next thing you know, they can't play it on day one. To me, that's horrible. Like, I don't know what you guys think about that. Like, for me, if you had good customer service as a company, what you do is you let the fans, get it, keep it, okay? You solve the problem behind the scenes with whoever got the stuff stolen. So that means that the website that gave those away, they're the ones that owe you money now, not the people who already paid for it, because they paid and that money went to someone. So who that money go to? They're claiming that it went to stolen CD keys. Well, where the money go then? You know what I mean? How are the people getting penalized for that? You think they're gonna end up buying your game because of that? Like, they're gonna end up stealing it, and then not only steal this version, any other version you ever make, they're not gonna pay for your game anymore. So it's just, to me, it's just bad customer service, and it's not that many people, 7,000 when you look at it as a whole, but
no,
that's why, to me, that's easy for them to say, well, fine, we'll let those slide and we'll investigate this stuff and prevent any more from being stolen or whatever, because it's only 7,000. But
if I was one of those 7,000, though, I'd be raising a stink about it. I'd be pissed. That's money that I spent on your game, and now you're saying that I can't play it because somebody else bought it, stole it. But that's how it works for everything. Like, if you buy a hot camera and the cops find out, they just take your camera. You don't get your money back.
Yeah,
that's how it works for everything.
The problem is, though, this is the purchase, right? If you have a receipt purchase it, showing that you purchased it, right? Now, the problem is that the company, they're saying that you have to deal with the people that sold you the CD key. They're the ones responsible. You go there and they say, well, we gave you a worker CD key. You have to go to the company and say, why did they take it? So that there's no one to go to in this situation. That's the thing that's getting me upset. And another thing is, I personally think that Rebellion doesn't want people to use CD keys whatsoever. I think a lot of companies want that. They want everyone to go to Steam. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but Steam prices for brand new games are high. They're $60. No one that gets a PC game wants to pay $60. They expect it to be lower than $60. That's the advantage of having a PC digital download. That's the whole argument with people in consoles. They don't want a digital download to be the same price as a retail value. So why would I pay?
Is Sniper Elite 3 $60 on Steam? Because there's only $50. It's only $50 for the PlayStation 4. I believe
it's $60 for some parts. I have to see again. I'll check in a second, but I know that it's the same exact price of retail. So I'm not sure if it's 50 or 60. But
that'd be shocking if it was higher than it is for the PlayStation 4. Well,
it's
off on a rant for digital delivery.
It's $49.99. So it's
the same price.
The same price as retail.
People bought the game, and they thought they were buying a legitimate. I agree with you, not to nerdy, but it's also a buyer beware type of thing. If you buy anything that's stolen and they find out, they're taking it and they're not giving your money back. That's true with everything.
The only thing is, though, I feel like as a company that deals with customer service, I don't know how you're gonna do that to the people. Cause it doesn't solve anything. You didn't stop the people from stealing CD keys. You still lost 7,000 copies, regardless. Yeah. That's what you lost 7,000 copies to begin with. There's also, you lost 7,000 people that actually wanted to buy your game day one. It's not like these people pirated your game day one. They bought a copy that they thought was a legit copy. Yeah. That's the thing I don't get. Do you know what I mean? And to me, it's what do you want them to do? What do you want people to do? Pay full price for a game, $60 for a digital download? That's the thing. You're getting back to console prices, or in this case, $50. But the point is the same price as the retail version. I think this issue is kind of muddied by the fact that it's a digital
copy. Like let's say I buy a Canon camera, right? And a cop shows at my door and says that Canon camera you bought was stolen. I'm not going back to Canon and saying, hey man, like, where's my camera? Because like Canon had nothing to do with the fact that I bought stolen merchandise. But for some reason, since it's digital merchandise, it seems a little more like, well, definitely they could have just helped these guys out. These 7,000 people out. They could have just given them different different keys to get the game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not their responsibility to replace stolen goods, and it's not Canon's responsibility either.
Exactly, but at what point are you alerted that that's stolen? Do you know what I mean? When you get a digital download, at what point? Why do they wait to the day before? Keep in mind, the One Advantage PC pre-download. These people had a pre-download waiting to go, and all of a sudden they said they blocked every single person. So at what point did they find out it's stolen? When did they decide that they're going to do that to the fans, to people who actually got the game? That's the
thing. They could have handled it better, definitely.
The one thing I think they did wrong was making their customers pay. You don't penalize the people who actually went out and spent their money. The last thing they should have done was make the people who bought the game wait. They could have took care of this, like Not Too Nerdy said, behind closed doors, found out how it got stolen, where it went, and did an investigation. But the last thing you want to do, because that can have residual effects. You're making your potential consumers or future buyers wait, and down the line, it could turn into negative publicity and affect your company and as far as the way you look to, the world. Like, people are talking about this now. They could have, hey, look, we'll give you a new cereal, we'll give you a new key. We apologize about this. We're going to find out what happened. Bam! All of a sudden, they get nothing but positive criticism from their consumers instead of getting negative criticism from people who actually paid. But I do see your point too, BriarRabbit. If you buy something from a third party or buy something, it is kind of a buyer beware. You didn't get it from the official source, so you kind of gotta do it with both eyes open and kind of expect something to go wrong. But when you are buying online, it is a much easier way for you to be able to go back and have accountability for your purchase, because you do have proof that, hey, look, my money was spent on something and somebody needs to be held accountable. So I see both of your points.
I just don't understand, why is Steam the official source, though? Why are they the only ones that you're allowed to do that? Do you see how that's monopolized? They control the pricing. Yeah, sometimes they give you great sales, but when they choose not to, they control the pricing. Why should it be one company that controls the pricing to begin with? That's the thing
what was the company that sold the stolen Steam keys?
From what I saw, they didn't even mention it. They never even mentioned a name of which CD key. There's like 5 or 6 brand name ones that people always go to. So it's not like it's like a random one. This is like an actual legit one that people have been doing for years.
Okay.
So we don't even know who sold the key.
They didn't even mention it. That's what I'm saying. They just said 7,000 or over 7,000 are stolen. They didn't simplify to see which CD key place it was. So like they just left wondering, is it the top ones? Which ones were stolen? They didn't mention it. So if that's the case, that to me that just sounds a little fishy to begin with.
It sounds like stupid PR. Like, they should have handled this way differently. Like, if they were planning on blocking those CD keys, they shouldn't have blocked the CD keys. They should have said to the press, look, here's what happened. 7,000 of these things got stolen. We're going to make it right with our customers because we're fucking awesome, and we want to be awesome, and we want our customers to think we're awesome. But, at the same time, it's like, what consumers should be mad about is the company that actually sold the stolen CD keys, not Rebellion. Rebellion, is just protecting themselves. They could have been awesome. They had an opportunity here, and they really messed it up. But who people should be mad about are the people that sold these the keys. I keep calling them Steam keys, but the CD keys.
Because, like, why wouldn't they? It could have been very simple. Like, I mean, because they didn't get paid. That's what they're saying. Since they didn't get paid for it, that the other party, third party, didn't pay for it, no one paid for it, that therefore the games were blocked, and that's end of story. So, I don't know. I just feel like it's horrible customer service, but I think it's more into this is all caused because of Steam. And Steam is starting to become more like console the way that, yes, it has amazing sales. You wait for the summer sale, the winter sale. You wait for those sales. But when there's no sales and these games are brand new, you're getting the same exact price it would be if it was retail price. And I think people tend to forget that. That's why they can have these sales later on, because people already bought them full price at some point. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that I don't know if people realize. Like, are games worth the $60 or $50? Just like if you're not getting the disc, I don't think they are. I don't think they're worth the same price. You're paying that extra price because of what it costs to print stuff and all that for the
physical media.
Yeah.
And shipping and storage and Best Buy's cut or Target's cut or GameStop's cut. You're saving all that money and you're not transferring any of it to consumers. That separate issue is a big problem I have with digital downloads to begin with. It's it's clearly you're saving a lot of money. Let's talk about Sony. Sony's selling a game for $60. Let's say Wolfenstein, and all that profit is going towards Sony and to the developer, or to the studio or to the publisher. All that money that you used to spend on shipping those games across the country, or from on a tanker ship or wherever they get printed, all the money that used to be Best Buy's cut, all that money is just getting absorbed. Maybe they need to, because the price of games has gone up. The price of making a game has gotten so high. Maybe they just need that extra revenue. But it feels to me like I'm getting less as a consumer, so I should get a discount. It feels that way.
Yeah, I agree. I think even from even from the job that I do, I feel like this is still wrong, because you're overcharging for a game that the reason why it's at that price in the first place is because you're counting for the loss of how much it costs to make the game, like all that stuff. But then when you go to a retail store, the cost for shipping and all that stuff, that's what you're doing when you charge someone $60 for a game. So it should be $40, $50 the most. But $40 seems like the right price for a brand new digital copy. Maybe $45, but not. You can't tell me it's $60. I'm just sorry. You cannot say it's the same exact price as physical copy. Because why would I not want to get the physical copy then?
I'm always going to get the digital copy because I can resell it to GameStop and get $15 or $20 toward my next game.
Yeah. Why would I? That's the thing. If you want to get people away from the physical copy, you have to make a move now. This goes for consoles as well. You have to make a move. You have to change the difference in the price. Not
what the difference they're going to make is they're going to start raising the price of the retail copy.
Yeah, it's going to be $70.
It'll be $70.
$70 and $60.
That's what they're going to do.
It could be $100, but all they're going to do is have less people buy the game. That's all. They're not going to make the difference. It's just be less people buying the game. So.
I mean, if you think about all the stuff that you lose with a digital copy, with a physical copy, you can loan them out. Like BriarRabbit said, you can trade it in for a newer game. All that is gone when you have a digital copy, and it just sits on your console till the end of time, and you're paying full price. You lose all that functionality by having digital media versus physical media, and that's why I always pick physical over digital pretty much any time I get the opportunity, unless it's like an indie or a small game that I'm not going to sit, on my game shrine or with the rest of my games. I always get physical media because it's something tangible, something you can have and hold in your hand, versus a full-price game that's a digital representation of a physical media.
Yeah, I bought a few digital games, like big games, like $60 games. I bought Titanfall because I knew that I'd be playing that for a long time. And let me tell you, it's awesome to have the digital version because you don't have to get it off the shelf and swap the disc out. You just, your Xbox is on and you just start playing. It's nice. And if let's say I'm playing 3 games kind of in rotation on the Xbox. I can just swap between those games without having to find the disc. The disc never gets scratched. If anything gets corrupted on my hard disk, I can just re-download it. Ultimately, I think for me it's a better experience. Except I can make $20 back when I'm done with the game. If I buy a Wolfenstein and then I play the single player and 2 weeks later I'm done, I can bring that back, get $20 toward the next game, toward Sniper Elite. I can't do that if I buy the digital copy. That's the big downside for me.
For the biggest downside for me, seeing that I think for everyone is, don't forget these digital copies, especially for Steam, are based on your region, so they'll still jack up the price. So it won't be the same price for some people. So you'll be living in a different region. Your price for Sniper Elite, I know Sniper Elite for other people would have been equivalent to us paying $70 for a digital copy.
And what happens when Xbox One is no longer supported, and Xbox Live is gone, and your Xbox dies. your Xbox dies, your hard drive dies, so there's no way to download them anymore. Like, what happens to all those games? That's kind of like a crazy scenario. Probably more applicable to you, not too nerdy or beastly gamer, who actually collect old games. You're not going to collect old digital games.
It's the hardcore truth, though, BriarRabbit. At some point in time, you know that these servers will go down.
Yeah,
they're not going to stay up forever. They're definitely going to go down. And when they do, your ability to reach back in time and grab those games are going to die with it. And then you're going to realize at that point, all that money was in vain. It was like renting a game, renting some games.
You got to play it when it was new. It's just that
you got to play it for years. And that's going to suck. Because you're going to be like, damn it, at one point in time I did have that game, but it's no longer on the servers are down, I can't get it. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that digital trade backs will ever happen?
No.
Do you think that
I think sharing, yes. I think digital sharing, yes. They already started doing that, and Microsoft hinted that that's what they're going to do. Because they said that some of their policies that they had originally with the Xbox One, they thought were good ideas, and they're going to bring it back. I think that's what they're hinting towards sharing with friends. So I think they're going to start doing that. So I think sharing with friends, yes. But I think it's going to be something like only one person can use it at a time, just like Steam does it. Like only one person can share. So like
that's how PSN is too.
What was that?
PSN is the same way. One person at a time. You can have multiple PSN accounts on different consoles, but
no, I meant like to share with your friend, so your friend can play your game.
Like I could share Call of Duty Ghosts with you.
Yeah, you just can't play at the same time or something like that.
You can't play at the same time?
That's what I think, but I think that they might do it where you will be able to play. I don't think.
I want to be able to play at the same time.
But
look, Microsoft, I'm talking to you right now. I want to be able to play at the same time.
But I think Microsoft will be the first one to do that. I mean, even though Sony does have where you can play with your friends and they don't have to own the game, so I don't know who's going to do it first.
Well, that's in the works. They haven't done it yet. But that is in the works.
Yeah, Far Cry 4 is doing it on their own. You can have a friend who doesn't own the game just join you in your session.
Yeah, but
that's going to be sick.
They're doing it on the PS4 only because of the fact that Sony has something. That's what Sony was working on. That was their thing that they promised everyone, where you can have your friend jump in. So they're using that system, the Sony, and that's why it's only on PS4. But I don't know how
there's got to be a catch. There has to be a catch though, because I mean, if you think about it, if you got a buddy who's going to buy a game, that's going to make you say, okay, I'm not ever going to buy this game because my friend will get it. There's got to be some kind of catch because at the end it's all about the dollars. They're gonna have to do something.
No, really, because I mean I don't want to wait for my friend to be there at the same exact time every single time. Like we have to every single time be there at the same time, and so it's sort of like you're teasing a person because you're letting them play the game. And you see how much fun it is. That eventually, if they really like it, they're gonna buy it themselves.
They're gonna buy it themselves
because they don't want to wait for you the whole time to play. They're gonna want to play it alone too. So
I feel like at some point in time Nintendo did something similar years ago. It might have been I can't remember. It might have been. I'm trying to remember the console that they did.
I remember that too. It was a Game Boy Advance thing where you could
Game Boy Advance. Yeah,
you could play Pokemon with somebody who didn't have the game. Like you could share it, but you had to have it hooked up by cable to.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
That's going to be a pretty awesome feature. I'm super excited about it. Microsoft was doing the 10, where you could give 10 friends your games and loan them out. But when they reneged on the DRM, they also took that back, and that raised a lot of concern with the consumers too. But that was something that would actually blow the socks off of Sony because Sony only allowed you to share with one person per console. So of course, like right now, if I was to give BriarRabbit Call of Duty Ghosts, or he was to give me Call of Duty Ghosts, we could both play the single-player campaign together simultaneously, but only one of us would be able to get online at a time. Microsoft had it so that you could actually share with 10 people, and you could all get online. And then they ended up taking that back. So that's something in their infrastructure. Hopefully they bring it back. That would be awesome.
That's because you're always online. So that was the reason why. So you're always online anyway. That was the whole thing.
I just wanted that for my family. Like with the Xbox 360, I had 3 Xboxes in the house. You know, the kids could be playing downstairs. I could be playing up in the office. And another kid could be playing in the living room. And we could all be playing Call of Duty together online. That'd be awesome. All on, like, individual screens. Not that split screen bullshit. That'd be awesome. Yeah. That'd be really fucking fun.
Well, who knows? They might bring that back, you know. I mean, hopefully they will at some point.
Obviously, they're taking notes right now. They're taking notes. They're watching this.
They're constantly going. They're head to head right now with Sony, and they're all trying to one up one another. So ultimately, it'll get better for us, no matter how this thing goes.
Yeah. So you guys see that I posted a video on Thunderstruck Gaming this week?
I didn't.
I heard about it today.
No, that was pretty cool.
I heard.
Cool. They have a nice community over there. So I would like to welcome anybody who is watching the show for the first time that came over from there. They're a really good community over there.
Where is that? What is it again? Because I know one of your videos saying thank you for the subscribers that came from there. I didn't know what you were referring to.
Thunderstruck Gaming. It's like a community channel where you can post videos to and kind of get a little exposure, and it was really nice. I got a really nice response.
Is it any type of gaming, or is it specifically Call of Duty?
It's mostly Call of Duty, but there are other people that post. I've seen Minecraft videos on there before. I want to say I saw Titanfall too.
Wait, part 2? Oh no, Titanfall also.
I was like part 2. Yeah. You don't have that yet?
I was like, man. No, you saw my face. I'm like, wait a second, that came out already.
I got it on PS5.
Oh man, I don't know. My Dreamcast 2. I'm hoping for that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
coming in 2026.
Thunderstruck Gaming is owned by Thunder 402, right?
Yeah.
It's one of his channels.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, he's a big beastie Call of Duty guy. So I guess I have to get my game up. Same to you, Not Too Nerdy. I know you got it.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now though, to go back to Sega, I'm letting you guys know, Sega's gonna come out with the next console. I'm telling you, Sega's
you really
coming out.
Think they're gonna make another one? They can't even make a good game at this point.
They're gonna bring out new console. They're gonna bring out a new console. It's gonna be like some exclusive.
It'll be like a Tiger handheld, like a little LCD.
PC Gamer knows what exclusive that will sell that Dreamcast. It was that was on Dreamcast. What was the best game on Dreamcast? Beastly. Which one was it?
So many. Shenmue.
That would sell the system right there. If they brought that out, they announced it, that's going to sell the system right there.
They need to put a new Skies of Arcadia on there. Put a new Skies of Arcadia on it. Man, please. I was playing Dreamcast yesterday, man. So many good games. I was playing Ready to Rumble Boxing, Afro Thunder. It's time to dance. It's time to dance.
Why has there never been a Skies of Arcadia 2?
Yeah,
so good. What's that?
Because people want it, that's why. And that anytime someone really wants a game, they don't release it.
like Final Fantasy VII, the remake, or The Last Guardian, these kind of games.
Yeah.
People really never see the light of day.
Last Guardian, I can understand. It's a new IP. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII remake is a perfect. I mean, why don't they just release that?
And Square's in so much trouble financially right now. I mean, if I was one of the big wigs there, I'd have a huge team together to work that out, because that could put that company right back on the pedestal they used to be on. Everybody in the West would buy it, especially if they did it justice. They didn't just try to make a quick cash cow and actually had the same character development with new updated graphics.
They could do a quick cash grab and make a ton of money. Just HD by the graphics, release it on PlayStation 4, boom, watch the money roll in.
It would be good, but I want them to go in and totally redo it, but keep the story and the characters. But yeah, if they did a quick HD remake, that might do pretty well too. Of course, it would sell a shit ton of games. They make all the money they need, you know.
But Skies of Arcadia too, man. That game was so good.
Yeah.
They released it for Nintendo. What?
It was on GameCube.
N64, GameCube. Okay.
GameCube. Yeah.
It wouldn't look right on 64.
No, yeah, that would have not worked probably. Man, I love that game.
It looked like Minecraft.
All right, so Oculus Rift sales suspended in China due to extreme reseller purchases. Maybe I ought to ship my little over to China. Get this thing working over there. You got a motion sickness problem, but we can work that out.
It looks so comfortable, BriarRabbit. Let me see the inside.
So, oh man, that's nice soft foam. I think it's great. Let me turn it on for you. See that? Oh, you get to see my messages and everything.
You put in a lot of work on that bad boy.
Oh man, it took minutes.
It took only 3 minutes to construct.
So, the Chinese, man, they're starting to think more like the West. They're trying to make profit off everything they do. It appears that they're all buying the Oculus Rift. They're pre-ordering it and paying for it, so that when it comes over there, they can sell it at a huge, absorbent price. And so Oculus decided to ban sales to China for this fact, which really seems weird because most companies would just be trying to get as much money as they can and sell their own stuff. But I guess they have a moralistic compass, and they decided that they're not going to sell to China because they're going to mark up the price of the Oculus.
Mm-hmm.
It's already too late. Because I'll tell you this right now, China already has enough to open them up to make their own now. I guarantee you China is they already made, all the ones that they shipped, they made 5 times more than that in like one little room. A whole bunch of, I'm telling you right now, they already made it.
It's the Oculus Raft.
Dude, it's gonna be 4D images, not even 3, like 4D.
Damn.
I'm gonna have to add another iPhone to compete with that.
Yeah, one more.
For real though, you know, China, they shouldn't have stopped it because like they were gonna make it themselves anyway. Like China's they're gonna imitate everything. They always do that. Every console. That's why it's funny that like, you know, the PlayStation, you know, the Nintendo and Microsoft, they're all gonna go over to China, but they already have systems that are identical to the ones that they're selling here. They already copied it and made their own versions of it, and they sold thousands of millions or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter what you think is gonna happen. Well, they're gonna make their own product anyway. So you should be fortunate that they're buying the real stuff. You might as well just let them buy the real stuff. You know, like help them fund you so that you can make a better product. Like, I don't know.
Wow, I love the little Chinese PSP knockoff. That thing was pretty fun. It was only $40.
Did it come with games preloaded?
Yeah, it did. It came with Sega games, Nintendo games.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Like China has like this Super Nintendo that it's not really called Super Nintendo, but it's awesome. It's better. I think it's better than the Super Nintendo, and it plays. Yeah, it really enhances like every game that you get. So like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean, they could make their own versions of stuff too. So they probably save thousands of dollars too for each one.
What are they selling Oculus Rift for now? $300 for the developer's kit currently?
And I think it jacked up the price, but it originally was $300. That was for the people that was when you did a Kickstarter. It was $300. So like now I believe it's like $500.
No, that's the Facebook price. $500.
Oh god.
Wait, I gotta make sure though. That's a good question. I don't even know what it's at right now.
Zuckerberg said 300. Hell no, bitch. 5.
I'm so interested in that. Like, I cannot wait for that to come out. That and Morpheus. Like, what I really want is for Morpheus to be absolutely stunningly amazing, so that I'm not tempted to buy a PC and Oculus Rift. But
wow, they dropped it. It's only $350. It was at 5. I saw it close to 5 at one point. But yeah, it's still more than like the original Kickstarter. But damn, that's crazy.
All I'm hearing about the Project Morpheus is good stuff. Everybody's saying that it really performs well. You don't get any of that vertigo. That you don't get headaches. And it's a really nice. Yeah. Well, that was an issue that was heavily reported with the first iteration of the Oculus Rift, not version 2. I haven't heard too much about version 2 of Oculus Rift, but I'm a PlayStation guy, so I'm super excited about Project Morpheus. Everybody says it's really awesome. They're saying that the two are very close as far as overall functionality, but I'm not really a PC gamer, so I'm super excited. I'm curious as to what they're going to try to charge for this thing. I know they can't charge as much as they're charging for the console. That just can't happen.
Well, version 2. Oh, sorry. Continue.
To me, it would seem very hard to sell a peripheral that costs more than the actual console that it's for.
Yeah,
it's like selling a seat for your car that costs more than the car. It just doesn't make sense. You know?
Right.
How comfortable is
it on a Honda Civic?
How comfortable is the damn seat?
No, the thing is, the version 2 for the Oculus Rift is just like the first one. No, they did a little bit different to make it less laggy, so you don't get the motion blur. They also made it 1080p, so that's the newest one. The newest one is 1080p. It wasn't like that before, so it wasn't. It was lower to 720. It was lower. Yeah, it was 720p, I think. So now it's 1080p. That's the only difference.
I've heard users say that even at 1080, you really want more. Like you can still see the pixels.
For some images, yeah, you can still see pixels and stuff, but it also has to do with their technology that Oculus did, which is a flick back and it flickers. So the more it flickers, the less you'll see the images. Cause what people compare it to is like with the original one, the version 1 like looked like you're looking out like a screen door or a screen window, and you see like the little lines. It looked like that. I mean, after a while you get used to it, but in the beginning, that's all you see for a while, you know? So, and because you see that too, the quicker things move, or if you see any blur, then you'll get dizzy. That's another thing that causes the motion sickness. So, but
now, not too nerdy. Have you had hands-on with the Oculus Rift and Project Morpheus? Have you seen them both or just one?
Yeah, I've seen both.
Don't depress me. Okay, what are your overall impressions on the two that you've seen, if you can say?
All right, the product itself, I think I went over this a while ago when we talked about it, but the product itself, I think the Oculus Rift it's ahead of Project Morpheus, but not by that much, to be honest with you. But the thing that Oculus Rift has the advantage of is that it can get those higher resolutions and those higher frames according to your PC build. So I think that will help it a lot because, like BriarRabbit actually said before, the better the quality of the image and the faster the frames, the less of the motion blur that you'll have, which will make you not be as motion sickness, you know. But yeah, I think the PS4 has an advantage in a way that it has more sensors, like a gyroscope that they use. Instead of a gyroscope, they use the sensors in front. They have 4 up front and then 2 in the back, and they use the PlayStation camera to position exactly where you're at. And I think that helps with tracking more than what the Oculus Rift is doing.
It also helps with cost because you have less sensors in the helmet. You're using those lights that the PlayStation Eye is tracking. It should help with the cost.
So I think overall, like, they're a lot better at tracking. So like I feel like for me personally, I had less motion sickness with the PlayStation, you know, the Project Morpheus compared to the Oculus Rift. But
so you still experienced motion sickness though. You still did at that point.
Absolutely. Like you have to for both. Like I think it's something you gotta get used to. I saw like as more time that I tried it, it was a lot easier. So either way, I think in the beginning you're gonna get that motion sickness unless they solve this flickering problem, which that's what Oculus supposedly solved. That the more it flickers the light, it reduces the light brightness to your eyes, and that's another thing that they said that causes the motion blur. So we'll see how it's going to work out in the end, but I think they're both at good pace. I think Sony's at a real good pace, especially since no one, like, before, I don't know, I say about 4 months before they officially announced it, that was the first time anyone heard of it, because they announced it a little bit before that, but still, like, when they publicly announced it, you know, for them to be that quickly comparable to the Oculus Rift is pretty impressive.
So the pros, I guess, of both would be Oculus Rift has higher potential for resolution, better image. The flicker will reduce the, I guess, motion blur sickness that you would get. And Sony's Project Morpheus is better tracking ability, so you actually feel more immersed in the experience because I guess the way your head's moving, you feel like it's more realistic.
Yeah, because the one thing the Oculus Rift has a problem with, and I still saw the problem with, is when you can move, move around and stuff like that, but when you move forward, it can't tell the difference, the depth perception. It has a problem with depth perception, as opposed to Sony since it has the sensors, it tracks exactly where you are, so it knows the depth. So you can move closer and it tells you you're moving closer. You can move further, it can tell you moving further. I feel like that helps you out more in games than moving side to side. Yes, first-person shooters, you move side to side, but there's going to be times that some people are going to look down they're going to want to look down at their hands and stuff like that. They don't want to feel like dizzy looking down and look back up, and it's not going to be accurate to what you're doing. So that's the first thing everyone's going to try. Like that's the first thing you do, virtual reality. You look around and stuff like, whoa, this is cool. You look at your hands, you look at your feet, you look at everything. And to me, that's the problem that they have is the front and back motion. So we'll see if they fix that. I don't know
what nerdy. I got to send you a prototype of my headset and see what you think, because I really think I got something going here.
And make sure you review that thing live, not too nerdy.
I don't really work with Apple.
I really think this is right up there.
The funny part is this: your product probably is going to cost more than the Oculus Rift and everything else. That's going to
two iPhones in it.
Hell yeah, bro. Oh, man. You got to work on the price, bro. You got to work on the price.
Okay? All right, you got to supply your own iPhones. I'll tell you the headset kit.
The harness. So the harness.
For 6 easy payments of $19.99.
Oh, shit.
I've already got an investor. Right, Marco?
I got you back 100%.
Marco, you better work on that math first before you start investing.
Get that check before the calculus starts.
The other thing I'm curious about the Oculus is not everybody has this master PC, so if someone has a lower-end PC, are you going to be able to even play? Because with Project Morpheus, it's guaranteed to already work to the standards that they made it to be.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
That's a great point. And
some guy has like 2 gigs of RAM. He doesn't even be like looking here and it's already over there, right?
Yeah, you talk about motion sickness. Try 5 frames per second.
5 frames per second. 5 frames.
I think it's gonna be the requirements of the resolution of the screen. It's gonna be just like we're trying to do a resolution for 1080p, because then that's what you're gonna have to do. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to make sure you get it up to that length, because I believe it was 960 by 960. That's what each eye is 960.
Yeah.
So resolution. So that's the thing. So you're gonna have to be able to output dual monitors at 960. So that's pretty much what you're looking at for your computer. It's gonna have to do that resolution. So you grab 2 screens and test it out. Can your computer run that? If so, then you'll be able to run the version 2 of Oculus Rift. So.
But the thing is, PCs are constantly advancing in tech, and your graphics cards and your RAM. So these games on PC would ultimately, over the years, get better and better and better. So you're constantly upgrading to stay up to par. With the PS4, you got an 8-year life cycle, and you got at least 6 years of Project Morpheus, and it'll be straight out the box the entire 6 years. So that's my thing.
Maybe 8-year life cycle. Yeah, I don't think any of these consoles are going to last 8 years.
I agree with you, Nazi. Right? I think we're going to have a shorter lifespan for these consoles this time around.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to happen at the end of them? You think we got PS5s, or do you think we're moving someplace else?
No, I think we got another round of consoles.
I had to make sure.
Yeah. I think eventually it'll become like
consoles ending.
Eventually we won't have consoles anymore, but for now, there's no way to. Bandwidth's not good enough to not have consoles.
Mm-hmm. At one point, it's going to go all digital. It's going to be all on PlayStation now. It's going to be cloud service like that. That one day. We're probably not too close to that, but it'll happen.
Yeah, we'll need fiber optic connections everywhere.
I want that so bad.
The power of the cloud.
Yeah, right.
I haven't heard that line in a while. Where's that? Where that
it's been a while.
Microsoft.
Come on.
Phil Spencer.
Yeah, they were talking about all sorts of smack with that too, like dedicated servers and AI would run on the cloud, so your console wouldn't have to handle it. They were talking a lot of smack about that, and none of it came to fruition.
Do you think that the cloud does have that capability, BriarRabbit? Do you think that they were just speaking from too far out?
I don't know. It makes sense. Why not? It's just that, how long is it going to take for programmers to do it? And why would a programmer do it on the Xbox One if they can't do it on the PlayStation 4? If they're doing a multi-platform game, it's almost off the table, isn't it?
But the thing is this, the problem we're going back to is the bandwidth. It requires bandwidth. So what you're telling me is if someone's internet isn't working too well, you have to, it's core to everyone's internet together for the bandwidth. And how am I going to program something? Am I going to program more AI up in the cloud and all of a sudden it won't reach out the same way that everyone due to lag? So how's that going to happen?
You've just started playing easy mode.
The guys on my team were dumber than the guys on your team.
You know what I mean? I just don't see. When people think that it's going to make a huge difference. Yes, I think it's good for dedicated servers. I think it's good to have dedicated servers on it. I think that works because you don't require too much bandwidth for a server because just as much bandwidth that you normally have for a server, but just dedicated servers. But besides that, I think that's pretty much the extent of what they can use it for now.
Yeah.
So
I don't even think they're using. My experience at Call of Duty Ghosts on the Xbox One has not been a strong one, and dedicated servers, I don't know if that's actually happening or not.
Has it been
a lot of posts.
Has it been comparable to the PS4 or better in any way?
I believe it's better on the PS4. I believe that game is better on the PS4.
As far as the online?
Yeah.
As far as the server, wow.
I think
you heard that here from BriarRabbit.
You heard it here first, folks.
Titanfall though, Titanfall did use dedicated servers, and I just think they just had horrible to connect people to games, which is bad. But
there were not enough people.
That could be it too. I don't know about that. Oh, that's messed up.
That game sold so many. Though. It sold so many.
That
game sold a shit. Titanfall sold so many copies, man.
It just burned out so quickly. I don't know, even for me, I was playing on PC. It just got tiring. After the first 3 weeks of playing it, I was already bored with it. Not that I was bored. It really wasn't too much to do. They didn't have too many weapons. There's certain things that you need in one of those. If you're gonna do a first-person shooter, you have to give someone something to upgrade. This is the whole point of it. They mean change to get more Titans. They mean change weapons. They didn't have any of those loadouts or anything. What are you doing right now? What's the purpose of me continue playing this? If it's the same levels, and I don't know.
They were just giving you guys. They were just giving us. They were just giving us something to hold us over until Destiny came out.
Oh, tomorrow's big news from
Destiny's
Destiny.
doing it right.
Tomorrow,
what? Say that again?
Bungie's going to be in the news tomorrow. They've teased that they're going to be releasing new Destiny details tomorrow.
Oh, word from the streets. I'm going to say it like 95 gamers. Word. That's cool.
There's been leaks of new multiplayer modes, and hopefully we get some more beta details. I'm looking forward to jumping back into that game. I love that game. That alpha really got me excited for that game.
Absolutely.
When's the beta come out? What's the release date of the beta? It's
July 16th.
When? Oh man, it's crap.
Oh, you got to play it for the first time. Nice.
Can't wait.
Also, Destiny, you know how people were complaining. The one boring thing was that guy Peter.
Peter Dinklage?
Yeah.
It's a wizard from the moon.
Yeah, they redid his voice part. They made him do different things, different scenes because he sounded so boring. So,
yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That is funny. That line was shot. Do you guys remember the first time you jumped into Destiny and you heard the voice? And you're like, wait a minute, who is this voice? Is there somebody singing next to me, or they don't set up that you have an AI with you?
Yeah, I think because of where they place you in the game,
Yeah.
So like that's why I did that. But like, yeah, I was like, is that little thing talking to me? What the hell is that?
Yeah, what is going on here? Like, what is talking to me right now?
Claptrap, claptrap.
And I was so upset because I'm like, why does your voice sound so damn familiar? Like the whole time I'm trying to figure out his voice, and then I finally figured out on IGN they said it. I was like, like. But it's funny. Everyone complained about it. He's so boring. So now they made him do other things. I don't know what they made him do, but
they were selling T-shirts with that on it. Bungie.
Oh man, that's great.
Speaking of claptrap, I've been playing Borderlands 2 on the PS Vita. That game is awesome. Like, it's a really good version of that game.
Really?
Yeah.
I never got hands-on, man, but all the reviews scared me away. So turn me around there.
I like it.
Did you play the console version?
Strong. Yeah, I played the console version. It's pretty good on the Vita, though. It works well as a portable game because you can just, like, you can start a quest, kind of do a little shooty, and then put it down, It's a nice game for portable. I like it.
It's only 2-person co-op, though, right? That's the only difference?
I haven't played any co-op. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, I think that's the one thing they change it.
How fine-tuned are the controls? Because both analogs, they feel a little floaty, like in Killzone.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of help with the aim assist. A lot of help. Like, not only does it help you aim at the person you're shooting at, it helps you get headshots. So there's a lot of help.
So it's a game made for me. Yes.
There you go.
But it's fun, I like it. They're
and it has all the
DLC
too.
PS3. Go ahead.
It has all the DLC too for the PS Vita version.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much like the full unlimited Ultra Street Fighter 4 #-com
Duo. Okay, EX Alpha. Sweet.
Yeah, I think it's got all of that stuff. But I mean, it's the sticks are good enough to get you around. You're not going to be precisely aiming, but the aim assist is good enough that you don't need to. It's a little bit choppy. The frame rate's not awesome, but it's a small screen, so it's okay. And playing with those triggers on the top of the PS Vita, you can hit those pretty rapidly. It actually works out pretty good. The only weird thing is you got to touch the back of the Vita to hit what you normally would have hit with the shoulder buttons. But once you get used to it, once you kind of start holding it the way the game wants you to hold it, it works. It works good. I like it. It's fun.
Wow. Great. And that's still going for what? What is it? 40, 39, 99?
$40. Yeah, I bought it for full price for $40. But I'm pretty happy with my purchase because that thing was sitting there collecting dust for me.
There's another first-person shooter out for the Vita that's I heard even better than that. It's called Call of Duty Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified.
No, that game is terrible.
I had it. It's bad. It's not good.
So
I was
gonna say, guys, I have something. Since we're talking about the Vita right now, you guys heard the other story that came out this week about the Vita?
No, I didn't.
About the Vita, if you could look everywhere, Target, Walmart, Amazon, they're not being sold anywhere. So people are wondering, are they slowly getting rid of the Vita? Sony's denying it, saying that there's just been a huge amount of people buying it, which out of nowhere, I don't know where that came from. So, what do you guys think is the reason for this?
It's the new version. It's the new Vita version, and I think Sony might be overstating how many have been sold. I think they just didn't import a whole lot because it wasn't selling well before.
No, they're not selling at all. If you look at Amazon, it's none of them. The only ones you can get is a Borderlands bundle. You can't get anything unless it's directly from Sony. Like, there's no third party selling like the Vitas. So
you can't find them anywhere.
It's weird,
I heard that this could be potentially the reason why that Sony is about to ship a new version of the Vita, that they've tweaked some things with it in an effort to make the console actually cheaper, and that that's what they're doing. It's like in the middle of shipping out this newer slim model versus the one that they just recently released. That's what I heard. Now, I can't speak to the validity of that statement, but that's what I've been hearing in the wind, that there is potentially another PlayStation Vita soon to be released that Sony has fine-tuned to minimize costs.
See, that's like a logical explanation. The only reason why I don't want to believe that is because Michael Pachter said it, and like he's never right. So like, he's the one that stated that. Anytime I read something from him, I just feel like it's the exact opposite of whatever the hell he says. Like, I don't know how that guy gets paid to do what he does. He's always wrong. Like, he literally said that 3DS is going to be a huge fail. Wrong. He also said, what else did he say about the PS4? He said the PS4 is not going to have a chance. He said Xbox One's going to come out, and Xbox One's going to be really cheap. The PS4 is going to be more expensive. The PS4 is not going to have a chance. Complete opposite of what he said. And then he said the only thing he got right, eventually he switched and said eventually the Xbox One is not going to sell a Kinect. It's going to be a Kinectless bundle, which everyone predicted that. But Michael Pachter got that one right, too. Thumbs up, Michael Pachter. Thumbs up.
Got one thing right. Good job.
So, what are your thoughts, Not Too Nerdy, on the disappearing PlayStation Vitas? What do you think?
I think that makes logical sense. Like that makes sense. Like I don't think if you look at a track record, the only place that the Vitas are selling like crazy right now is Japan. I don't know why. All of a sudden now Japan's buying that, and they're still not buying PS4s, but they're buying Vitas. So I don't know where that came from. I guess there are more games going to the Vitas, and there's more Japanese games coming to the Vitas soon. So I still don't see them selling out everywhere. So obviously they pulled back. They have to pull them back from Amazon, so especially Amazon. When you see Amazon not have it, that means Sony literally called them back to do something else with it. That's my only explanation. But the thing is, like I said, I don't want to agree with Michael Pachter. But
let's not agree with him. It's better for humanity.
Oh, man. Did you guys hear about another game studio closing its doors, Airtight Games?
Mm-hmm.
The studio that made Murdered Soul Suspect.
No one even knew about it.
The game that just came out for PS4, Xbox One. I think it came out on the last-gen consoles as well. That studio has shut its doors. You guys hear about this, and what are your thoughts?
I never checked out Murdered Soul Suspect. I mean, it looked interesting, but I never... I don't know. I can't speak to the quality.
It was floating right in the mid-range, between good and bad, about a 6 on Metacritic.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything to write home about, but the game had, I guess, promise as far as the story goes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty
interesting setup. Yeah.
Yeah. The story and aesthetically is pretty pleasing, but to me, it's kind of amazing that a studio can just put a game out. I'm talking about literally within the last, 60 days that game came out?
A month.
And they're closing their doors. They're selling off their furniture. They got signs on the front of their building that they're selling off all their computers and their chairs and their desks. How bad did it get in there after that game didn't sell? That, to me, that's phenomenal. That can happen so quick. You get a 180 turnaround. I mean, 4 weeks ago, you're telling your wife, babe, we just made this game. It's getting ready to go out to next-gen consoles. We made it. And then 4 weeks later, you're in the unemployment line. How the hell does that happen? It blows my mind.
The thing is, like, AAA games cost so much money now. Like, and that's a problem. Like, it costs so much money, especially this year, and like this year more than ever, because the fact that when you're in between generations, you got to also build for the PS3 and PS4, Xbox One, Xbox 360. So you have even more generations to make the game for. That's even more expensive than a normal AAA game. So now on top of it, AAA games just cost so much money, and even if you reach a certain amount, you think that you did a great job. You're putting so much money into the game, you're breaking even sometimes, you know. And some companies like that, they weren't doing too well to begin with, and they're banking on this one game, that they're hoping that this game does well to pick them up. Because that happens sometimes. Sometimes one game could just pick you back up. And another company that's not in the best shape is Konami, and you better believe they're banking on Metal Gear Solid. Like, once that comes out, we all know it's going to sell well. I mean, the $30 version of a demo sold well, you know, and that helped them out too, money-wise too, by the way. But that's what happens. Sometimes you put all this money into one game, and you're banking on it's going to do well and hoping, and it just doesn't, and that's it. If the one game does bad and you put millions and millions and millions of dollars into it and it doesn't do well, you're stuck. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. That's it. You lost all the money. So.
Oh man, how depressing is that?
Yoshida actually came out this week and he said only 3 to 4 out of 10 games for AAA games that PlayStation 4 does actually make money. The rest don't make money. So it's either 3. He says 3, sometimes 4 of them make money. And when you look at it, one or two out of those 4 actually make enough money to cover the rest. So he said that's why they have to keep a good balance when they make AAA games. So if you really look at it, that's the way it is. 40% of those games that you make, the AAA games, are actually going to make money. The rest are not. You lose money on them. And that's the thing that you have to realize, that you have to bank on some of them is going to save you, some of them are not. And that's just the way it is. And don't forget, like, he's talking as Sony as a whole. Don't forget those individual studios. Like, what if your game's the one that's not doing well? You're the one that's going to be dropped. Do you get it? So that's the thing. Like, he's talking as a whole, as in Sony. What about the individual studios that make the game? And that's the problem that you have. There's so much competition out there, and that's why a lot of these developers are turning to indie games. They're turning to indie games because it's cheaper for them to make, it's easier for them to make, they can make it quicker, and they could just put the work out there and on to the next version. So, I don't know.
It's a scary industry to be in, man. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, gamers are real receptive to the indie games too. You know, every game doesn't have to be a huge epic game. You know, like I'm playing Valiant Hearts. It's not an indie game. It was developed by Ubisoft. But you know, these smaller games would just give you like a quick experience where, you know, it's just wicked poignant and you get right to the point and it's good to go. You know, it's a nice thing. It's a nice change from these huge AAA titles that we really got saturated with on the Xbox 360 PS3 era.
I mean, I just think that us as gamers have to start buying these games. Like, we have to start buying these games. That's what it comes down to. You know, you have to stop doing what everyone does. Like, it's one thing to trade in your game at GameStop, then you go back and you buy like a brand new release game for a couple dollars less than a new game. Why? You just took the money out of the developer's hands so you could save like $6, $7. What are you gonna do with those $6, $7? You know, we have to stop it now. Like, you have to start buying these games. Otherwise, the games that you like, the studios that you like, they're gonna be no more. You know, like you hear games like Uncharted and what's the other one? The Last of Us. You hear games like that from what's the company called? How am I forgetting their name? Studio. Naughty Dog. You know how like they put so much money in these games? Imagine if one of those games didn't do well. Not that they won't, but what if one of those games didn't do well? And you hear a studio like Naughty Dog going under.
Oh man.
What?
I might cry.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it only takes one failure in the game to completely turn around the outcome of a company.
Or it takes residual failures like what's been going on with Capcom. A few years ago, if you had told us that Capcom would be available for purchase in 2014, that someone could just buy the company, no one would have believed that. Capcom was one of the biggest, video game companies in the world, and one of the best, one of the most well-known and renowned companies. Now all of a sudden they're available for purchase. Nobody would have thought that it would even be possible for something like that to happen to Capcom.
Well, I think Capcom, that brings me to another point too. Some of this stuff happens because it's the own studio's unwillingness to change and rehashing the same things. And Capcom's a perfect example. They keep doing the same thing over and over again, and they're unwilling to change. So that some of it's their fault. Like, they're unwilling to change, they're unwilling to bring out stuff that people actually want, like Mega Man, for example. Every single time a new Mega Man story came out, they canceled it. That's something that people wanted, and what the fans wanted, they didn't give. And they gave only what they wanted to give. So that sometimes is the developer's fault as well, the studio. But with that said, like, I still think us as gamers have to start buying more games if you really enjoy the game. Don't buy them used. Don't wait to rent. Don't wait to trade them in. We're all guilty of that. At some point, we trade in games. That's the advantage of owning the game and then trading them in. But at some point, we're gonna have to learn that we can't. We're gonna have to help these developers out. Otherwise, those games that you like they're not gonna be there anymore. So.
Well, what you're saying does sound good, but a way to fix that issue is just go totally digital.
No, because then you have piracy. You have even more piracy. You have other people trying to do shortcuts too, because then people are going to complain that, well, once I own a digital, don't I have the right to do stuff with digital versions as well? Because in ownership as well. You know, I don't know if you guys remember a couple of years ago. I think it was in Europe that someone won a court case because they tried to. The digital version, they were trying to sell a digital version, and they wouldn't allow them to sell a digital version, and they found out that since you own it, that you were allowed to do it, and it was a European, I forgot what country it was, but then the court ruled in favor of the person saying that you did own that digital version, so you were allowed to share it. So obviously that's not the way it works in the U.S., but I'm saying who knows, that could change. Who knows?
We need to hire that judge and send him over here.
Yeah, those rights are all changing. A lot of people have been bringing it up in the court system with iTunes libraries. Like, what happens to my iTunes library when I die? Can I pass that down to my kids, or does it disappear into the ether? I think gaming will come along into that argument as well. It's just iTunes has been around for a little bit longer. It's more of a mature thing, but that kind of all these rights and all these issues have to be worked out with digital only goods.
Yeah.
Can I have your iTunes library, BriarRabbit?
You don't want mine.
Coming up next, Fleetwood Mac, baby.
To be honest with you, that's why I don't even think companies want digital copies to be gone. I think the ultimate solution for them is streaming. Is with the PlayStation Now style. That's the ultimate solution, because then the only way you get access to it is by streaming it onto there. Like, there's no purchasing, there's no stealing, there's no nothing. You have to access their servers, so they track everything that you do. So to be honest, that's the ultimate solution to it. That's what they'll rather do. But
that'll never happen. It can't. I just couldn't see a streaming only service, because that would take away your ability to own anything, and people like to own their stuff. People, I mean, when you go outside and get in your car, it makes you feel good that it's yours. It'd feel terrible if you were paying per mile and someone else owned it. Some people like me, I like to actually own the stuff that I pay for, and there's millions of people in the world like that, and if they told me the only way you're going to play a new game is by streaming it, I'd be extremely frustrated, and I'd voice my opinion. And I think that's
it works so good in music, though, obviously. Like, you get a service like Spotify, you pay $10 a month, and you can listen to anything. You don't have to pay $10 per album to listen to it. You can just listen to whatever your heart's desire is, in higher resolution audio than you would even get from iTunes. Like, if PlayStation Now offered a Netflix type model where you pay them a monthly fee, say $20 or $30 a month, and then you got access to anything in that library, sign me up. I'm all over that. Absolutely. But that would be a nice addition. Yeah.
I mean, of course. I mean, I still own Blu-rays and stuff too. I watch Netflix and I enjoy Netflix. I think it's a great service, but I still like to own some stuff.
See,
I don't want to sit in an empty room.
I think this starts to get into that collecting thing, which scares me too. We talked a little bit about this before the show about kind of collecting it. If you own it on Blu-ray, how's that different than owning it on a Blu-ray type format that's in the cloud? Aside that you don't have it on the shelves taking up space.
I'll put it this way. There's this service, there's this site, I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but this site has a whole bunch of videos. People press play, they can watch any videos they want. Oh, it's YouTube. But what YouTube allows you to stream, have you ever seen a YouTube video and all of a sudden, it's buffering, a little circle thing there? That happens all the time according to bandwidth, according to their servers, your servers, stuff like that happens all the time. That's the difference between downloading the actual video and watching it live as opposed to watching on YouTube on a streaming service.
We'll get past that, though.
I don't think you'll ever get past that because...
Oh, we will, because it wasn't that long ago where I had a 14.4K modem, and I was like, what the hell? This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And then the first time I got DSL, I was like, holy cow, I can download at a megabyte per second, and now, just a few years later, I'm downloading 20 megabytes per second. It's been moving progressively faster and faster, and fiber is infiltrating the country. I think it'll get better and better as we go.
But I meant for gaming, it'll never, because gaming, in order for that to work, you have to input it. You have to put some sort of input. The input has to then be sent out and then sent back. to you, like to the screen.
But they can just shoot you a level, right? And like it's almost like it loads off the disc, because now you're just downloading that level. You're playing it locally, and as you get halfway through, it starts downloading the next level. So you're still playing locally. You know, they can still do that with this streaming service. It'd just be about.
I'm not talking about the video portion. I'm talking about the movements. Every movement, when you press up, it has to put the input of up.
That's what I'm saying though. It's like instead of you buying the game on a disc, you could stream the game, but instead of your inputs going to a server, what they could do is just download the level to your console.
Go straight to that portion that you downloaded.
Right, so you're playing a local copy of that level. As you get halfway through the level, it starts predicting, okay, we need to start downloading the next level because he's going to be there soon. So everything you're playing is done locally.
That could work, yeah.
It still wouldn't work like that because like you're saying that you're always going to have to dump off the memory.
Yeah, you're always going to be downloading new information.
And
that's
impossible.
Okay.
It's not impossible. It'll be possible with faster internet connections and more memory.
Because like it's hard to explain this, but like when you put the input, right? Even if it's like say if like I already pre-downloaded a stage, right?
Yeah.
Now as I put the input and stuff like that, it still has to send a message back online to say where you left off at. And when you do that, it's not going to be able to send a new image. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, like.
No, that's not what I'm talking about, though. I'm saying it's downloading. I'm getting the whole level, so it's almost like it's downloading the whole game, but it's just doing it chunk by chunk as I need it. It's like on demand. You know, like I'm not playing the game that's stored on a server. I'm playing the game that's stored on my hard drive, just like if I download Titanfall now. Well, that's a bad example. Just like if I say I downloaded Wolfenstein and started playing that now. I'm playing a local copy of Wolfenstein on my hard drive.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that instead of having that whole game there, I'll be installing it as I go, as I need it.
Yeah, but
when I don't need it anymore, it deletes and makes room for the next thing.
So when you're saying level by level, so what happens to the second level? How does it send the image to the next level? So like if you whatever you did in the first level, right? Say if you had let's say if you go points as you had 1,000 points, all these kills. How does the second one, when they give you the second part, how does it know where you left off?
The same way it knows now.
How? Do you know how that works?
I don't. I'm not a game developer, but I can tell you.
That's what I meant. Like,
there's no reasonable reason that it shouldn't work this way. Like it couldn't work this way. Given fast enough internet connections, you know, you can download what you need. It'd be the same as playing it off a disc, except the disc is stored in Omaha. You know, there's no difference.
I love Nebraska. Hey, look, a quick intermission. Kate wanted me to let you guys know that she just beat Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. She just handed me this and said, "Show Dave."
That game is awesome. That game is awesome, but not too dirty. What I'm saying is, like, it worked the same as it works now.
Yeah.
You know, your save state would stay your save state and stay in the memory. When you move from level to level, you know, that stuff works now. Why shouldn't it work if that? The only difference is that instead of getting the information for the next level off a CD in the console, you're getting it from a server in Nebraska.
But my point is, like, you're saying that every level, where is the memory staying once you said it saves in the information, right? So save it on your console then.
Yeah, you can save it on the hard drive or in the memory or wherever you currently do it.
Okay, then the disc or whatever is being played, like you said, is being played somewhere else.
Yeah.
So at some point, it's gonna have to send information back and forth. There's still gonna be that lag in the input.
No, because I'm not playing the game on the server. I'm playing the game in my local console.
No, I know that.
So why does there have to be lag in my input?
So even if you go between levels, there's gonna be a loading phase. You're saying each level is gonna load.
Yeah.
And every level is gonna have to send information back and forth, correct? Or no it's instantly gonna know.
No, it's downloading.
Oh, man.
Yes. Okay. No, we can get through this.
No.
You're not getting me though, because like you're saying
I don't think I am, because what I'm saying is that the game works exactly like it does now.
Okay.
Okay. I'm playing a local copy of the game. Okay. The only difference is when I get halfway through the level I'm currently on, the game triggers a download of the second level.
Yes.
Okay. So when I get to the second level, it's a continuous experience for me.
But you're saying like a lot of the games, especially games today, each level is not the same exact thing. So like when you start downloading, what about those games where you customize your character or something like that?
Yeah.
How will that work?
What? I don't understand your question.
It's hard to explain it.
How does it work now? How does it work now, and why does it have to be different?
Oh my goodness. All right. So all right, let me go from I'll say how it works now on the regular game system. Right?
Okay.
So if you have it predetermined, right? So when you have the console, it sends a message to it saying like what loads in each what you just did beforehand. What you're saying is that you keep that memory of whatever happened for that first level. It keeps it in there, and then the second one loads like that. But what happens is it pre-renders the game ahead of time on this machine. So it pre-renders the scenes and the levels, so where you start off at. So that's why sometimes you ever seen a game glitch out or something between levels because what you did previously.
I have.
You know what I mean? Like that's why it wouldn't work out like that, because each time you download a new level, it doesn't make sense. Are you getting rid of that previous level?
No, it can still be on the hard drive, right? So it could not get deleted until I turn off the game.
So what are you streaming then?
You're just streaming the levels. The levels are coming as you need them.
So he's saying it streams in chunks.
But that doesn't solve the problem of streaming games, though. Where that's digital download level by level, and that won't even be connected. But I'm just saying,
that's what I'm saying. It's a different technology, but I think it'd be a better one, assuming faster internet connections, because instead of having to stream a game where you're basically sending your inputs to a server, so every time I hit the up button,
it goes
I get the ping time all the way to the server. I'm still playing a local copy of that game.
But it's just digital download. There's no difference.
It's digital download, except that it gets around the piracy issue because I can't keep a copy of that game. I'm never downloading the full copy of the game.
I guess it does make a lot of sense.
Eventually you will, though, because if you're saying if you saves it, eventually you'll download the whole game, right?
Eventually, but never in unless I play like a 10-hour session of the full game, I wouldn't do it all in one shot.
But that's what I'm saying. Like eventually, it's gonna have to store all that stuff, so that's not any different. That's all you're doing is preloading what the PS4 does right now. All you're doing is playing the game while it's loading.
Yeah,
that's all you're doing.
It's a better way to do it because I don't have to wait for input lag to get from my console to a server where the game is actually being played.
So basically, you're saying, BriarRabbit, once the technology gets there, that we'll be able to basically almost stream digital downloads, like right there on the fly. You see a game you want, bam, it starts coming. Maybe within the first minute, you're able to start playing the game.
What's wrong with you?
I love this shit.
Go ahead, not too nerdy.
Not too nerdy.
That's digital download then, because you're downloading the game, you're not streaming it.
That's true. Except
continue.
Okay. That's true. What you're saying is true, except it's not. I'm not downloading the whole game. I'm downloading it as I need it. It's more like on demand, right? It's like as I need more pieces of this game, I can download them. And the game, will have to be smart enough to predict. Okay, well, it looks like he's going to get to. Yeah, it looks like he's going to get to level 2 soon. So we need to start downloading that. Then once we're on level 4, okay, he's not going back to level 1 anytime soon, so we can delete that and make room for level 5. You know what I'm saying?
For all the viewers watching this, leave comments down in the comment section below and let us know what you think about this digital downloads versus streaming debacle.
I'm just curious because I feel like the same exact thing what you do right now with the PS4, and that's what they do. They're downloading the game portion by portion. You're allowed to play it, and you can't play the next part till that other part's downloaded.
That's how the on live service works?
Huh? No, I meant like
the PlayStation Now service works.
When you download it, you could download a game digitally, and it does that too. Like you could do portion-wise, the same thing. Or if you get the disc and you put the disc in there, it's also downloaded off to this upload on here.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I said 10 minutes ago.
But that's what I'm saying. But we're talking about streaming though. Has nothing to do with streaming.
My hope is that this system could replace streaming. Because the problem with streaming to me is that every input I make, if I hit the A button to jump, there's a lag between my console and the server, and you're always going to feel that. No matter how fast that lag gets, you're always going to feel it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying at the beginning. But I still meant.
Oh my god!
That up. What I'm saying, though, my point was.
Oh my god!
That totally just counteracted what we're talking about. Because we're saying that eventually, if the future is getting rid of the console, you're going to need a console there because you're going to have the hard drive to save the memory on. You're going to have to have everything the same exact way. So what's different? I'm lost.
This is kind of what BriarRabbit's saying. Okay, imagine a game like The Walking Dead, the Telltale games. If you could get episode by episode instead of it'd be kind of like streaming a whole episode almost on the fly. And after you get done with that episode would go away or get dumped off your hard drive as you're downloading the next.
But he's saying you're not streaming it.
It's a new system. It's a new system. It wouldn't necessarily be streaming. It would be kind of like a hybrid of streaming and digital download because you're streaming it. You're actually playing the game as it's still being collected onto your hard drive. So technically, it isn't a full digital download because it's not fully on your system at the moment you're playing it. It's still being streamed to your system or downloaded to your system. So that's kind of what he's saying, right, Briar?
I'm sorry, I started reading the comments.
I'm so lost right now. It's so much, just so much. I'm just like...
That was the most epically long debate in history. My God.
Hey,
I love it. It's a conversation podcast.
One debate on who, though? On what side?
Hey, I love it. This is a conversational podcast.
That's not how... Oh, my God. That drove me crazy. That bugged me out, that one.
Hey, man, we're not supposed to agree all the time. That shit is what makes it just better.
We have to know the difference between streaming and downloading. That's what we're arguing right now about.
So to the guys watching the show live, what do you think will be a better system in the future? Fast digital downloads or fast digital streaming, or does it even make a difference? Yeah, because that's kind of what BriarRabbit was saying. If you get like an episode of The Walking Dead immediately, it would be streaming to your console as you're playing it. Of course it would.
But what he specified is that the first level will have to download. That's what he said. It will have to download because it's no input. Correct? That's my point. That's what I got out of it. So we agree on that part. Yeah. My point is this: when you download the first episode, it's on there, it's saved. That's a digital download. Whether you did episodes, whatever, you just digitally download it. You didn't stream it, and then from there on, it's downloading the rest.
Yeah.
So as soon as it can read. But my point is, it's still a download. You're never streaming it. Not at one point. That's all I'm saying.
Here. Yeah. We have no argument here.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not.
He's saying it might be a better system.
I wasn't trying to call it streaming. I was saying this is the system I would like better than streaming.
So what you're saying, it could be like a part digital. You digital different parts. You could digitally download different parts of the game. Right. So separately.
Right.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And they would come to you as you were playing, and then be deleted as you didn't need them anymore.
Yeah.
So you were just always playing the game on your console at home.
I'm just so happy because we got it. And you guys got it too. You're all part of this.
Oh man, this is weird.
Dude, that was too much, man. My mind was like.
So you guys are in agreement that streaming will always have an issue with input lag, no matter what. I heard you both say that.
Yeah, the internet's got to get a lot faster.
Yeah, I think the internet's gonna be fast no matter what. I just think there'll always be that slight delay of what your button movement is to it moving on the screen.
Yeah.
Of course they could try to minimize it as much as they want to, but no matter what, it's always going to be a slight delay. And you could tell that just by your controller or whatever. It's
going to make it less of a difference between games, too. If Valiant Hearts, you probably wouldn't even notice it. But, if you're playing Mario, you'd notice it constantly because instant timing is what it's all about. Or Street Fighter.
Playing Call of Duty streaming is going to be very difficult.
I don't know. I almost can imagine that being a good experience. If the game is playing locally on a server and everybody is just based on whatever their ping time is to that server, and then they got to download what they see. I don't know. I could almost see multiplayer games working that way because everybody would have a fair experience based on their own ping time to the server, as opposed to having to go to a server and then to a host. The
only thing is,
I could almost see that working.
I mean, I agree that everyone's gonna have the same exact experience. I just think it's gonna be a good experience together.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's gonna be slow together, but hey, you all see the same thing, so it'll actually be fair.
Fair experience. I guess that's different than a good experience.
The problem is, it's like slow.
Yeah. It'll get faster though. It's gotten faster already. I remember playing Quake 3 with like a 300 ping.
I just feel like every country though, it sucks. Every country has such different internet. Like that's the problem. And even the U.S. alone, every state, towns within towns have like different like internet speeds. So that's the problem.
Yeah.
During the now that the debate's over, you guys take off your boxing gloves. We want to go back to something we talked about during the pre-show, guys. Dave and I was talking about what it's like for kids now growing up playing video games versus the way it was for us growing up playing video games. Robbie, Unreal, you guys are a little bit younger than us, but we want to talk about what it would be like and what it is like for kids growing up now versus the way it was back in the 80s. Because I can tell you right now, in 85, Nintendo was all we had. And we thought that Nintendo was a supercomputer. I remember when I saw Mario, I thought it was magic. I played Castlevania, Ninja Gaiden. I thought that this was just beyond my realm of possibility that this is actually real. When I picked up the first light gun and shot those ducks in Mario Duck Hunt, to me, that was virtual reality. That was Project Morpheus right there. And now these kids are 4 and 5 years old. My daughter is 3. She's got a tablet. She's got her phone. She has an Android phone, my old phone. She plays video games. She has a PS4 in her house. And we wanted to talk about a little bit of the contrast and how much things have changed and really pretty much how it's going to be for these kids once they get older. What do you guys think about growing up now in video games compared to the way it was back 20, 25 years ago?
When I was a kid, I used to have to walk all the way to school, 10 miles, uphill, both ways, in the snow.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Yeah, Beasley, when you said 20, 25 years ago, you just took 2 people out of this conversation. I was like,
I've been gaming for 28 years, okay? I actually sat and did the math today. But 28 years is a long time, and so I've seen a lot of things come and go, but it really is phenomenal to me. I'm sitting here in front of my game shrine. I'm looking at history. And just remembering how it was when these systems came out and how they pushed technology so much further and really improved the overall gaming experience. And now you think about games like, for us, when the 64 came out, it was phenomenal. But now the kids look at that and it's like watching, Pong compared to what they see now on the screen. They got games like Battlefield 4 on the screen, and you got games like The Last of Us and all these next-gen graphics. Now it's almost photorealistic. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare just touted that their game is going to be the closest first-person shooter to be photorealistic ever. And these kids are growing up, and to them this will be the norm. And plus technology in general is just so far ahead of where it was 25 years ago. It's amazing, man, and I'm super excited to see what happens like in the next 20 years if technology continues to move forward the way it has, because I want my own holodeck before I die. And those guys out there who know what Star Trek is know what the holodeck is. I want to be able to come in the house and just be back in 1875 when black people were still cool in America. But, yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on that old school stuff? I know, Not Too Nerdy, you got a lot of older game systems and you grew up with them.
I just think that time was a lot more. It's all about fun in games. It was not about like all the graphics or anything like that. I mean, yeah, you're amazed by, oh, this looks great, but then another one comes out and you're like, oh, this one looks great. And I just think technology today is so quick. We got new consoles here that are close to being outdated already, if you really think about it. Like, not outdated, but pushed to their limits almost, And I just think technology moves so much quicker than it did before, because before, like, those console generations lasted a long time because, like, you had that technology wasn't moving as fast back then. And a lot of the games, too, like, another thing, I think the gameplay in those games, like, you got games that were challenging and that made you play hours on end because they're so hard. But
they were hard as hell.
Yeah, if you knew what to do in the game, once you learned, those games are what, 35 minutes, 40 minutes tops? Like, there's a majority of them took no time. And
but it took months to beat them, though.
Yeah, it took months to beat them because you have to learn patterns. That was the biggest thing back then. They gave you patterns back then so that you had to practice and memorize certain things, and you practice over and over again so you knew what the pattern was, so that when you beat it, you feel like a sense of accomplishment. And they didn't hold their hand. Yeah, they didn't hold their hand throughout the whole thing. They also didn't give you a tutorial for most of this stuff. They just threw you there and it's like play.
Yeah, a game manual that was 6 pages in black and white.
Yeah, there's no internet to look up cheat codes or anything. You have to like literally get Game Informer.
Your cheat codes came from around the lunch table.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you had people draw out maps. Like that's what I did when I was younger. For Metro, I drew out the map. I'm like, okay, this is what it looks like. You know.
Because there wasn't a map in the game.
Yeah, there was no select button that you just go look at it. Oh, there's a map here. We're going to go here. And then you could set a waypoint. What waypoint?
Fast travel.
You're so fast travel. It took you an hour to get to that spot. It's going to take you an hour to get to that spot.
Wow.
Like, that's the way it was. And I felt like if you try to bring those games back today, and with that time length, people will be pissed off. Like, man.
Kids would be upset, yeah.
Like, look at the way people reacted with Metal Gear Solid. We talked about this. It's $30, right? $30 is a 10-minute game, and, like, yes, it had different ways of beating the game, and it had, like, a whole bunch of other things that took you some time to beat. Back then, how much do you think those games cost, even if it only was 20 minutes long? You know what I mean? Like, so it's just funny how times have changed. People expect more from these companies. And it's funny because, like, people don't realize that it's completely different. Like, games today, like, you could die 1,000 times and just restart from the last checkpoint.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that then. You died 5 times. Usually it's that 5th time you die, game over, and you get upset, you throw the controller. Then you pick it up after an hour, you're like, I'm going to do this again. Just for you to die, the same exact spot.
I used to buy a game. When I was a kid, I only got like 4 games a year because that's what my family could afford. 4 games is a lot, probably, compared to what I got. And I used to work on those games so hard. And sometimes I had a game that I never beat because I just couldn't. It was too damn hard. Battletoads was like that for me. I never beat Battletoads. I owned it, and I never beat it because it was fucking impossible. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I might never have beat that game, too, for the NES.
Oh, that's so hardcore.
That was rough, though.
That was a hard game, but like those games, I'd just sit there and I'd work on them. Now, like you buy a game, let's say you buy a $60. I'll use Wolfenstein as another example. You buy that game for $60, and you beat it in a week because it's easy as pie to get through. Then what are you left with? You're not getting another game for 3 months. You know, you're not getting another game till Christmas. Who knows when you're getting another game? You know, you're bummed. Yeah, sure, it was an 8-hour experience, but you've seen everything there is to see in that game. You play it on a harder difficulty, but you're not going to see anything different. You're just going to get harder enemies.
Those games lasted so long, man. And like you said, Briar, you put hours upon hours upon hours and barely move anywhere in those games. Unreal Gamer, you can relate. You played Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest.
That was like the hardest game I've ever played in my life.
That's easy. That's the easiest one, I think.
Yeah, man. You got to play Dracula's Curse, though. Games like that, those are the first games that I actually played that gave me that difficulty that just blew my mind. And there were no strategy guides. The internet didn't exist.
You couldn't even fucking save your game.
No, you couldn't.
You turn that shit off, it's gone. You had to leave that Nintendo on.
Do you remember the passwords that they would give you?
It was like a page long.
It was a pictogram.
The Mega Man games. The Mega Man games, the dots. Oh my god, dude, that pissed me off.
Castlevania gives you a pictogram that you actually have to draw each image. You have a piece of paper, oh shit, I gotta make sure I get them all. And every now and then you'd mess up and try to put it in, it wouldn't work. You feel like your fucking heart would explode.
Yeah, new games are short too. You know, you're talking about how people can get through old games in 20 minutes. Yesterday I was watching a speed run of Fallout 3. The guy got through it in 24 minutes. He beat the game in 24 minutes, start to finish. Yeah. Like, holy shit. And that's it. I mean, that game's full of content. Now, games have gotten a lot better in general. I mean, they're magical worlds. Like, you could just totally get immersed into a game that just has this story all fleshed out and like real characters written with real drama and like worlds that you could believe in. Yeah, sure. I mean, unbelievable. imagination, maybe not so much. You can still find some stuff that, like in the indie scenes, like Thomas Was Alone or stuff like that, that takes a little more journey. Yeah, a little more creativity on your own part to play it. I think games in general are better now, though. I mean, it's like there's a level of artistry that is there that is just some of these things that we're seeing in games right now are gorgeous. I remember in BioShock getting into the lighthouse, BioShock Infinite, getting into the lighthouse and getting transported to the air world for the first time and walking into that tunnel with all the candles. There had to be thousands and thousands of candles in there. I was just blown away. You know, somebody had to think that up. Somebody had to design it. Who was Roger Ebert who said like video games aren't art? And like bullshit, man. Look at them. Like that is sick. That is sick. Somebody had to make this. Somebody had to design this in their head. That is art.
Yeah. Another thing that they don't have today that when I was younger that was like a huge thing. Since like you said, BriarRabbit, you did like 4 games a year, right? 3 games. You know, it was always like birthday or Christmas. You know, like, that was it. That was the only time I looked forward to get new games. And so Blockbuster was my best friend. Like I think everyone has Blockbuster. And, like, you just rented the game for the weekend, and like that was the biggest thing. Oh, I got a game for the weekend, and that was like the epic thing. Like, okay, now I sat down, like I have to beat this by the end of the weekend. You know, so like I would plan everything out that like I'm gonna beat this before I have to return it on Monday. You know what I mean? Like it was always like that, and like that Blockbuster is the biggest thing. You know.
And Briar was one of those games for me. I rented it from like a mom and pop rental store, and I want to say that game did have a save game, and I was so close to beating it, but I had to return it on Sunday. Like I had to. I had no choice. So I bring it back. The next Friday, I go back with my allowance money to rent it again, and my fucking save game was gone.
Yeah, I think that's the one biggest thing that used to happen a lot in the older game consoles and everything, that the saved games sometimes they'll erase, like they'll just erase out of nowhere, and like
they had batteries in the cartridges,
and like you'll just get devastated. That was like the biggest thing to find out, like a game that you put out. I remember I had Chrono Trigger, my game saved erased after hours upon hours of playing that damn game. That I just go back one day and I'm like, wait, I'm looking at it for a while. Like I'm staring at the screen like it's just gonna change. Like
this can't be happening.
You have no idea how many times A Link to the Past erased me also. Really? Like luckily that game, like I got so good at it, I could beat it quickly, but there's so many times that like it just would erase. I was just so upset. And there's different carts that did that too, but yeah, so it was no fun back then. That's a one advantage now. Like everything's there. Like, I mean, if you die, you get like a checkpoint. Like people today complain about, oh, I have to go all the way back to this checkpoint. Like, at least you have to start the whole game over. Like,
and you've got like 19 saves as you've been going. That it all, it keeps every one of them.
Yeah, it's just.
Think about that, guys. I remember back in the day where games didn't have any saves, and then when you think about something like Elder Scrolls, you could save like every 5 minutes on that game. You can go right back to right to the moment where you want to go back to. Things have changed, and I agree 100% with you, BriarRabbit. Things have changed for the better because all the games of old still exist, and best case scenario, they can be remade and remastered, which they're doing to a lot of these old games. So things are better, man. It's an awesome time to be a gamer. I'm super happy to be here today.
Yeah, in a few months you'll be able to make your own Mario levels. You won't have to just play Super Mario over and over and over.
I kind of want more games though to start putting this straight into the game. Like, yes, the story is fine. I'm not talking about the story. I'm talking about like less of these tutorials. Like, train us as we go along. Like, don't hold our hands the whole time. Like,
or how about this?
Go too far with it.
I've played a first-person shooter. I understand how to move up, down, left, right, and jump. Like, I get it. Like, I have played a lot of these now. Mm-hmm. How about you just put a little tutorial section that is optional if you want to, if you want to use it. But for the most part, you just put me into the game and I can start playing it.
Yeah, I hate those tutorials. Like you just said, like they don't let you skip it. Why am I doing this tutorial right now?
I bought Titanfall. It's an online first-person shooter, multiplayer only. I'm guessing that nobody who bought that had never played a first-person shooter before. But you literally had to learn to go up, down, left, Right. Like,
but the funny thing is, I'm sure that people would eventually figure out how to wall jump on their own. I mean, it's not that complicated to do. I mean, yeah, it gets used to like to time it, but it's practice. Like that's not even with the tutorial. You screwed up with the tutorial too. It took practice anyway. It would have been the same thing anyway. But
isn't it fun when you feel like you discovered it on your own as opposed to you were told it?
Some companies,
it's a lot of fun.
Some companies do give you the optional tutorial. I think Super Street Fighter, the arcade edition, they gave you the tutorial option, but you didn't have to go through it. Some games you actually do need tutorials for, though, and some first-person games like Mirror's Edge. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game was so different that you actually did need a little bit of help to figure out the mechanics. And games like that, I do understand and appreciate them putting a little bit of a tutorial in there. But for your typical first-person shooter, 90% of the people who buy these games or rent these games know what the hell is going on, and I think that should be totally optional at that point.
Yeah, a lot of games are doing that, like Spelunky and stuff like that, where you really are discovering it as you go. Minecraft is like that; you really have to just discover it on your own as you go, and that's a lot of fun.
Minecraft has tutorials?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is you got to discover it for yourself. I think that's part of the appeal of that game.
One game recently didn't have a tutorial, but that was alpha stage for Destiny. But I mean, I'm sure the regular one will have some sort of tutorial. But I mean, I guess we didn't know some of the buttons that some people told us. I mean, I guess
that's a good point. That's a good point.
They're like, "Oh, you could do this slide," and I'm like, "Wait, what?"
I learned so much from reading comments on those videos. You idiot! Why aren't you using your power move?
We have power moves. Like I'm like, what the hell?
All right, guys, I got some questions from commenters. You guys want to answer some questions?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's do it. You just refresh my page to make sure I get them all.
Oh, you have to refresh it to do that.
This is the best part.
I got to refresh.
He saw that in the comment section. The comments said refresh this page.
First question from Baby Girl Rosie. PS4, what's your opinion about upgrading the hard drive? Should I get a 1 terabyte hard drive or higher? I heard that the people who upgraded higher had issues with it, or should I wait for even higher hard drives? So what do you guys think? Should we upgrade our PS4s, get 1 terabyte? Have you guys heard about that? People having issues with larger than 1 terabyte?
It's probably 1.5 terabytes. It's probably this. I don't know. Did they? What do you call it? Did they? What do you say?
Specify?
No, like did they make sure they switch it to FAT32? Do you know what I mean? Like, did they do it the right way?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Thing. Because like, if they don't do it the right way, then it won't read it. It might read 2 files.
Well, FAT32 doesn't read further than 2 terabytes. FAT32 file system. I know the PS3 doesn't recognize anything over 2 terabytes, so I don't know if.
Yeah, but when you do a partition, you could still do FAT32 and something else, like the other ones. Are like, yeah, so if you don't do it the right way, then it might be reading one or not the other. So that's the thing. Like, did they do it the right way? So that's the thing. I don't know. I know people have.
It doesn't format it for you automatically. I would think it would.
It doesn't. The PS3 only. The PS3 only, as far as externals go. I don't know about the internal. It only reads FAT32. I think the internal has to be reformatted to FAT32 as well for their infrastructure.
Sony in general only reads FAT32.
FAT32 only
camcorders, everything. I use that for the backup for my camcorder and my hard drive because it does that. So like I have half of it formatted to FAT32. So just for when I record off that. But yeah, so that's the thing. Like if they didn't do it the right way, then they also could screw it up. So it depends.
And it won't recognize any hard drive over 2 terabytes. That's the thing with the PlayStation 3. So if you have friends who are upgrading to further than the 1.5 or 2 terabytes and they're having issues, that might be why. To be safe, I would just stick with the 1 terabyte, which gives you plenty of space. These games are pretty big, but 1 terabyte will give you a lot of time to fill up that hard drive.
I'd go with the biggest one I could find at Best Buy, and if it didn't work, I'd return it and buy the next biggest one. And if that didn't work, I'd return that. But eventually, I'd be looking for an SSD. Like,
yeah.
You know, that's gonna improve your gaming performance because levels are gonna load faster, your UI is gonna load faster. SSDs, it's an amazing difference on a computer, and that's what the PS4. It's a computer.
But the only thing I question is like the longevity of that SSD for of something like a console because it, you know, you can't overwrite stuff, so like it rewrites things, and like that's why I'm just curious, like how long would that last?
Yeah, I'd be curious about that too, but I bet it lasts longer than the fans of the processor because I don't have an original PS3 or Xbox 360 in my house, so the hard drives weren't where it was going. It was always the thermal paste or the, you know.
I have an original PS2. That lasted. PS2. Yeah, I have a PS2, original PS2 that lasted. So, and I don't know, that one's still fine. So I mean, I don't know. It depends. I know a majority of them though, they don't last that long anyway. Yeah. It's the way it is, but.
That's my suggestion. I'd buy the biggest one I could find, and if it doesn't work, I'd return it.
But like
buy the next biggest one.
I would start 2 gigabytes or less because
2 terabytes.
2 terabytes or less, yeah.
It won't recognize anything over 2 terabytes. The FAT32 system won't. So the 2 terabytes is probably the highest you can get. And if you're having issues there, I'd try a 1.5.
All right. That was Baby Girl Rose. Caleb Martin asked, thoughts about the game Dying Light. Will it be a knockoff Dying? Sorry, guys. Will it be a knockoff Dead Island or the best zombie game of the century?
Bum, bum,
bum, now, which Dead Island are we talking about?
I was talking Riptide
Dead Island. It just says Dead Island, so I assume we're talking about the first one.
The good one, then. The only good one. Yeah. That was there. Because, Riptide was horrible. I don't know. I think the thing is, I saw Angry Joe play the game. Like, he actually got a demo of the game. They let him play the game. Yeah, of Dying Light. This was before they ended up delaying the game after he pretty much criticized the game. I don't know if it's because of him, but he has a good amount of viewers, so I'm pretty sure if he said something bad about the game, that would be a good reason why they delayed it. But it was glitchy, but it's pretty cool that you have parkour elements.
Yeah.
Run away from zombies and stuff like that. And another thing is, it's cool that the day and night cycle happens, and the day is completely different from the night. The day, the zombies are
docile.
Yeah, you could like move around them. You could like maneuver yourself. But at nighttime, they're vicious. They're faster. It's hard to go against them. So I like that.
Just like Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. What a horrible night to have a curse. At nighttime, things get really rough in Castlevania. It's the same way in Dying Light. I mean, I honestly think this will be probably the best zombie game of all time. Aesthetically, it looks amazing.
That's huge.
To me, it looks great. I'm talking about first person. I'm not talking about the Resident Evils. I'm talking about the stuff we've been getting as far as Dead Islands. It looks great.
How about like H1Z1 and DayZ, that kind of thing?
I don't know if I could group those together because DayZ is more about the human element. It's more about the people you meet. Zombies are easy to fend off in DayZ. It'll probably be just as easy to fend off in H1Z1, but it's the people you meet. I heard one of the developers talking about it the day before yesterday, and he said your biggest threat in the game in H1Z1 is meeting other people, which basically means it's just like DayZ.
Yeah.
But as far as first-person zombie games go, Dead Island was a big seller. A lot of zombie fans like me love that game. This game is made by the same studio. It looks really good. Graphically, it looks next-gen. And the day and night paradigm, to me, adds a whole new fear factor to it. The fact that you can be running from enemies and they're chasing behind you like in Dawn of the Dead. You can jump on top of a roof to escape them and run and jump from roof to roof. It's so much more you can do in it. If they just work hard and build the gameplay mechanics as well as the game looks, I think it's a no-brainer that it'll outdo the other zombie games.
I mean, I'm questioning because, like, I don't know. I think it looks good. It looks like it's going to be fun. I don't think it's not going to be fun. But the thing is, like, I don't know, because it's combining Mirror's Edge, the parkour Mirror's Edge, with a zombie game like Dead Island. So, like, I don't know.
That sounds like fun. That sounds like fun.
It's fun, but at the same time, like, to say it's the best zombie game, I don't know. That's a bold statement.
Well, tell me your.
It's never about the zombies. They're always about the interpersonal reactions between the people who are put in a really stressful environment. So,
let me guess. Not too nerdy. Did you like the Walking Dead first-person shooter?
Which one? No. I'll say even the original Nazi zombie from World at War was probably the best iteration of any zombie game, and that was the original one. Like, yeah, I think that's what changed everything back to it. Like, I don't know. Like, I had the most fun with that, I think. So.
What do you think, Robbie?
Oh, jeez. What do I think?
Best zombie game of all time? Or just a Dead Island ripoff?
Well, it is being made by the same developer that made Dead Island, so it's definitely going to have some similarities and take some things away from Dead Island, but I feel like it's probably just going to be a bit of an evolution over Dead Island, like with the parkour and all that, so it's probably going to be pretty similar, but at the same time, like, have some new mechanics and stuff like that. It kind of keeps it more fresh and more enjoyable. Like, that's why it's not Dead Island 2. Well, obviously, Jaeger's making Dead Island 2, so they couldn't do that, but, you know, so it's probably going to be pretty similar, and it'll be a good game, I feel.
What do you think, Unreal Gamer?
Well, I don't know. There's so much competition out there because there's Daisy, there's Nether, there's Infection, and there's so many other ones. I can't see them doing something so different.
About that.
Yeah. There's so many of them. What makes this different than what else is out there? You know, I need something that's gonna blow my mind. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna get it, or else I just play something I have in my Steam library.
I'm sorry, guys. I gotta take that back. Left 4 Dead is probably the best first-person zombie game to me. Left 4 Dead was fucking great.
That was the hottest.
I love that game. Me and Kate killed it.
Anybody get into the Evolve beta? Speaking of Left 4 Dead.
No.
Not yet.
Yeah, have they started releasing them, or
they didn't release it yet? But like they're going, they let people update it, like, or you could fill out the paperwork for it and stuff like that. I believe it's not the beta; it's alpha first. They're doing alpha for that one. They're doing a pre-alpha, and then they're going to do 2 different betas, I believe. I don't remember what they said. No, I think it's just alpha and beta. But
that game looks phenomenal too, man.
It's fun, yeah. The only thing is, it's only for PC only, though. From what I remember correctly, the PC is the only one that's doing alpha.
It is.
Oh, wow.
I think it's a PC only for alpha. I don't know if it's the same thing for beta. It might be for beta as well.
Race.
We're gonna start console wars in the comment section. Nice.
Gabriel Kane Martinez says, asks, Briar, I thought that was real puke. Laugh out loud. Wow. Oh, this was okay. Wow, that was good editing. Briar himself. It was yourself, right? Yes, it was myself. I literally puked on my shirt. That was gross.
Yeah.
It was fake puke. It was fake puke. All right, I got some more questions.
Wait, I have a question then. What do you use for the fake puke?
Mostly orange juice.
Okay, cool. I'm always fascinated when people do that, fake blood and stuff like that. I always ask them what do they use and stuff. So that's cool.
Is there some brand you recommend?
Tropicana with extra pulp.
Extra pulp.
Mix some applesauce in there to make it better.
The secret is you leave it out for like a long time in the heat, and then you drink it.
All right, Enrico Umbro is asking about Epic Games and the new Gears of War. Are they developing War yesterday? I think Epic Games isn't.
No,
it's not doing it anymore. No, it's Black Tusk now.
Yeah.
Black Tusk, and Epic is just working on their engine. Are they even working on game?
No, they're just continuing on their Unreal Engine 4. That's pretty much it. Like,
well, we've got Fortnite. That hasn't been summoned forever, but.
Are you guys excited for the next Gears of War? I used to like the Gears of War series a lot, but I kind of fell off as it kind of progressed. Gears of War 3 was the last one I played, but I didn't even finish the campaign on it.
I never really got into Gears of War, believe it or not. I've had the game for years, and I never played it until yesterday.
Really?
Wow.
I swear, yes. I think Kate and I played it a few years ago, like 3 years ago. We played it for like 20 minutes, but it was right at the time where we were in our Mass Effect marathon. Okay. And so we just got into it and played some split screen for like 20 minutes. I was like, the hell with this. We got to go to Mass Effect. And we went back to Mass Effect. But
were
I played
the multiplayer or the single player Mass Effect?
We were playing the single player. We both have our Xbox 360s, and we both had our TVs on different sides of the room, and we both sat side by side, and we beat the game together. We beat all 3 of them together like that. But I got to say, Gears of War, I was playing Gears of War 1 yesterday. I played for 2 hours. that game stands up today. It stands up today to a lot of the games that are coming out now, and I'm really shocked at how well they put that game together. It's awesome, man.
That's a good game.
I always knew it was a very, popular game and graphically very pleasing, but the story, the characters, and the overall feel of it, and I see so many other games pulling mechanics from that game. I'll be really excited to see the next one now that I'm actually getting into it.
I personally never thought the story was special, but I think the graphics were amazing in Gears of War, and the thing that stood out to me was the third-person shooter mechanics. Everyone uses that now because that was the one that perfected. That was always a clunky mess sometimes with third-person shooters. Like SOCOM tried to do it, and SOCOM really didn't have the ability to when you're sprinting and when you turn a corner and when you're trying to vault over something. And I think Gears of War is the first person perfected where it was able for you to use a ledge to line up a shot and turn around and shoot. Like they're the ones that perfected, and like every other game pretty much like simulates that. So anytime you see a game have a shaky cam when someone's running,
it's in everything now.
Yeah, when you see that, Gears did that first. So like I think Gears are the ones that like pioneered the third person shooter the way it should be. So
yeah, it felt good too. It was just
comfortable.
Really solid.
It felt really comfortable. That was the first time for me that third person felt like more comfortable than first person shooter. I thought it was so good that like if you were a first person shooter only, you'll feel just as comfortable doing that with third person shooters. So
yeah, I liked it a lot too.
So to answer your question, I think we're all pretty excited about the future of Gears of War.
Are you though? I mean, you played Gears of War 1. Did you play Gears of War 3? You know, like
I played Gears 2.
None of the same developers are still there. It's a totally different studio working on it.
Ferguson is there.
But there's a lot riding on it though, BriarRabbit.
Yeah.
You know, it does have a pedigree. The game, the name.
There's a lot riding on the Spruce Moose. That doesn't make it a lot.
All right, I played every Gears, right? I think Gears 1 was great. Gears 2 was, I think, the best. Gears 3 was still pretty good. I like Gears 3. And then when Gears Judgment came out, it was a mess. Yeah. I think it was a disaster. It showed the sales. It showed the gameplay. It was just a mess of the way the story was, the way they rushed it. It just made no sense the way they did things. And they tried to do like a full co-op story mode campaign. It was just a whole mess, the whole thing. But on top of it being a mess, they also, like the fact that was a mess, I think that Black Tusk might go back to what worked. So that might be it might be a blessing in disguise that Judgment was so bad that it might be a blessing in disguise, but I think Black Tusk will change around and actually make Gears work.
You think they'll just make a whole game about Coltrane?
Yeah.
Here comes the Coltrane! Woo!
But you have to keep in mind that, like, on the engine that's being ran on, right? Usually the people that know how to run that engine the best, the people that know how to run that game the best are the people that create the engine, and they're not making that game anymore. So I don't, that's why when you looked at the games done by Epic Games, that's why Gears of War looks so good. They made the engine. They know their engine. They make engines for other people. Their engine's so good. So, like, I don't know. I honestly don't know how it's going to work out. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of feel about the same way I feel about Halo right now. It's like the guys who created it are no longer the guys in control of it, so why should I care?
Mm-hmm. In other words, it's like a new IP with the same story. It's sort of like a new game, but using rehash what other people use. So it's up in the air. It doesn't mean it's gonna be bad. Sometimes there's good new IPs are good,
So do you guys kind of hearken it to maybe like Batman Arkham Origins a little bit?
I hope not. I hope that I'm completely wrong. I hope that it's gonna be good. I really hope that it's gonna be good. But when it's like that, it's up in the air. Like it could be good or it could be bad because we don't know what to expect from them. It's not their original game. It's not their baby. So who knows? But then again, sometimes people are such huge fans that they'll live up to what the hype was. So I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully. Should we wrap it up, guys? Had enough? Thirsty for more?
Question, guys.
What's that?
I said great question to all the guys who posted them.
Absolutely.
I had a question, Briar.
What do you got?
No, my question is for you to ask a question. One of those epic questions of yours. One last time. We haven't done it in a while, so I want to kind of curious.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
We'll give you some time though. You can think about it. But before
I
that,
had one a couple of weeks ago, and I wrote it down, so I'll just bring it up.
Did anyone decide of a game yet? That's the one thing I was questioning. Did anyone decide of a game for the?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to do it yet, but like, does anyone have a rough idea what they wanted? Like. I thought of a game that.
Okay, whoever thinks of one, let's go.
I guess like King of Fighters, because then it's so much cheaper now, and any version will count. I don't really care which version people want to play.
PS3, Xbox, where are we playing it on?
They could be almost every system. I mean, PS3, they'll be easy.
PS3 everybody has, and
PS3 you can do.
All right, is it relatively?
I think it's like $6, $6.99 or something like that. It doesn't matter which version. I mean, we can all decide whichever version you guys want to play. Like for me, it doesn't really matter. Like.
All right. I like it. I think King of Fighters is a great idea.
I'm gonna destroy you, Rio, bro.
It's all good. I'm not gonna use a fight set. I'm gonna be using a gamepad, a fight pad, so that's gonna be interesting.
All right.
That's gonna be really interesting. I have yet to practice King of Fighters with a fight pad, but
King of Fighters PS3. We got King of Fighters 13 for $35.
Yeah, those are new ones. Like they
King
have
of
the older
Fighters
ones.
12, $25.
And then you look up the older ones are like $6.99, $7.99.
King of Fighters 11 for $11.98. You guys want to do that? Does it sound a decent price range?
As long as we can all get online and play, yeah.
You could do the one right before that, which is pretty much the same thing. It didn't change until 12, I think. Again, there was like, but the gap didn't really change. Added a couple more characters. That's the only difference between them. So you could go even lower if you want to. The only ones that are completely different are 97, 98. Other than that, like
those are old school.
Yeah, those are the only ones that are different in the.
Well, make a call. Which one would you like to do?
Whichever one's cheaper for everyone. Like,
I don't see a 10, King of Fighters 10 on here.
Oh, they ain't do the remake? I thought I saw on the PlayStation Store before.
Oh, is it on the PS3 store? I don't have a PlayStation in my office, so I can't look it up.
Oh, okay. Wait, what were you looking at then?
I was looking at Amazon, buying a hard copy on Amazon.
Oh, hard copy. Yeah, there's like digital downloads for all these.
Oh, okay.
So I'll email it to you guys to show you.
All right, so we'll do that. Why don't we start doing that, and you just tell us which one you want us to buy. How's that sound?
Yeah.
And then tell us what the rules are.
All right, cool. I'll make it fair. I'll try to make it really, really cheap for you guys, so it'll be digital download.
I'm just warning you, when it's my week, I'm not gonna make it that fair.
You're gonna do Call of Duty?
Definitely gonna be Call of Duty.
So, Call of Duty.
I'm gonna have to get Ghost. I'll just rent it though. Just tell me ahead of time. I'll just rent from GameFly. I'm not gonna buy that game.
That's my ultimate punishment to not too dirty. I'm gonna make you buy the game.
You're gonna buy it.
I'll never buy that game. I mean,
all right,
I'll
guys,
do Black
let's
Ops
wrap
2.
this one up. What's that? Black Ops 2? Oh, that'd be fun, actually. We could do Black Ops 2. Does everybody have that for the 360?
I got it on PS3, Dave.
I have it on PS3.
I had it on PS3. Not anymore.
You had it? Not anymore?
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll talk about that some other week. This week, we're going to concentrate on King of Fighters. And there should be some good videos, I think, that come out of this.
Yes, there will. Yes.
I'm looking forward to this. I feel like I'm going to get my ass kicked, but I'm still going to talk a lot of trash.
The funny thing is, I pick a game that I'm not gonna do too well in either, but like I think I might do well. I don't know.
I think it's a good pick. Nobody's good at King of Fighters, are they?
Yeah. I don't play that like that. You know, I'm more of a Street Fighter guy, but you know, it is what it is.
All right, we're gonna wrap this one up, guys. Don't forget to come to BriarRabbit.com and check out my new VR headset, available for 7 easy payments of $19.99. iPhone's not included.
You said 6 payments earlier.
Wow.
You just have to pay separate shipping and handling.
Shipping and handling not included. Also taking investors.
Don't forget to get your 5% off coupon from Pornhub as well.
Can we please kickstart this?
They won't let me on Kickstarter. I started my own. I call it Kick Harder.